Thanks for joining us tonight. A West Point man claims a local company is refusing to hire him because of his past criminal record. Anthony Swift says he was offered a position at Yokohama Tire Cooperation. However, after they completed a background check and saw he was a convicted felon, Swift says they rescinded that offer. Our Quentin Smith speaks with the West Point man. So, Quentin, is there an actual law that prohibits companies from discriminating against convicted felons?
Well, Scott, there are federal laws that prevent employers from discriminating against someone due to their race, sex, or religion, among other things. But when it comes to convicted felons, companies are free to make their own policy. Swift says that's the harsh reality facing many convicted felons, and he desperately wants to see that change.
Dear Anthony, thank you for your interest in Yokohama Tire Manufacturer in Mississippi.
As Anthony Swift reads what he calls a disheartening email.
Unfortunately, you did not pass a portion of the pre-screening process. Thus, we are rescinding your offer dated 5/30/2019.
He says he's still having a hard time coming to grips on why a local tire manufacturer chose not to hire him.
It's kind of like I got convicted all over again, because I was there, I was qualified. I did what it took to get to that point. But then they used something that already had been taken care of to deny me, so it was a hurt.
The hurt stems from what he calls discrimination. Swift spent a total of 16 years behind bars for selling drugs. When he asked the company for their reasoning on why they denied him the job, Swift says they sent him this email simply showing all of his convictions.
For them to hold it against a person who's been convicted of a crime, drug offense or what have you, and then later on still hold it over their head, it's kind of like saying the Mississippi Department of Corrections is not doing their job, that they can't rehabilitate people. People can be rehabilitated.
Swift says this has become all too common for those leaving prison.
It's kind of prejudicial to the people who's been incarcerated to just be denied flat out because of a conviction that you've already served.
In Mississippi, there is not a law saying companies cannot discriminate against hiring convicted felons seeking employment. Swift calls that unfair. He believes once a person pays their debt to society, they deserve a second chance, a chance to show they've learned and grown from their mistakes.
The door should be open for everybody who's willing to come and work on a job and do what they're supposed to do, and follow the rules and guidelines of the company, as long as a person does that, that's what's required of a job. Your past, it's in your past.
Now, we reached out to Yokohama for a comment on this matter. They replied saying, in part, Yokohama does not disclose confidential information regarding its candidates or employees. Now, I do want to point out, beginning next Monday, a state law will go into effect called the Fresh Start Act. The bill states that no one shall be disqualified from pursuing, practicing, or engaging in any occupation for which a license is required solely or in part because of a prior conviction of a crime, unless the crime for which the person was convicted directly relates to the duties and responsibilities of the licensed occupation. Scott?